Hey guys, today I thought we would do a New Year's Eve look. I didn't do a run through on this because a couple of days ago it said we're going to have 2 days of rain, and I thought, okay, 2 days of rain, that's fine, and then I can start shooting. That's not a problem at all. And then last night I checked and we're having 4 days of rain, and apparently one of them it's just said tons of rain, which I guess is a weather term. So I thought I better get this going today. It's the last day. I think I'm going to be able to shoot for several days. I do have a couple of things locked and loaded or halfway edited, so I won't be without content for the next few days, but I won't be able to shoot because I depend on natural light. And yeah, I guess that's kind of this is what's going on, and we're not really sure how this is going to work because I didn't do a run through either. So the last 2 makeup looks I did for holiday were very different. One was quite cool with a big lip, a very dark lip, and one was kind of a snowy wonderland kind of look, very kind of chilly champagne-y, like white goldy or pale white gold or pale gold or something like that. And this is going to be a much more traditional look, and it's going to have a red lip. I know a lot of people don't like red lips, which is why I did the other ones, but today, red lip. And I'm going to endeavor to do a very classic look, which is a naked eye and a red lip. When you do a look like this, it works a lot better if you're not super hooded. So when I look in the mirror, I just see these teeny little eyes and a whole bunch of hood. So we're going to try to do some very subtle tricks to give my eyes a little bit more shape, but it's not an eyeshadowy look. But just in case that doesn't work, I do have some backup. And let's get into it. First, foundation. You could do a look like this with a sheer foundation and just have it look like you're not wearing any foundation at all and you're just putting on a lip. This is a look that I used to do on a daily basis, except I didn't wear foundation, and I would just put on this fabulous red lip and nothing else, and I felt like I was kind of pulled together and on the chic side. But if this is New Year's Eve, I feel like I will want my skin to look perfected. So I am going to mix 2 things, and again, I'm not sure how this is going to work. The House Labs, which I have been loving since I bought it, has really nice coverage, but the Clé de Peau Radiant Cream Fluid or something like that, this also has a lot of coverage. This is a little light on me, and this is a little peach on me. So I thought we'd mix them together and see what happens. I do not recommend in real life that you do this. In fact, if you're going someplace and you really want to look fabulous, maybe do a test run. So House Labs, 1 pump will do it for me for the whole face, and this Clé de Peau goes a long way as well. So I just dipped a little bit in the center, and then I'm going to do a blend on my hand. Sometimes when I put foundations together it's not a problem, and sometimes it's a huge problem. But I think this is going to be fine. Yep, so far so good. I'm just going to tap with the BK Beauty brush and do 1 section at a time. I'm really trying for quite a perfected look, so I'll spend some time blending. This is actually a really nice combo. And again, I'm going to pick up with my fingers and put on my face instead of picking it up with the brush, because the brush will take some foundation with it. I like these 2 together. Whatever's left on the brush, I'll just bring down the teeniest bit. And then I'm taking the Hot and Flashy brush just because I can't find, this brush. So let's do this one. It's a 36 from Reve, and I'm just going to be really careful around the eyebrows, right inside here. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and do my lids. small bit. Around the mouth, the nose, the hairline, and around the ears. I'm not going to put makeup on my full ear, but I will carry it out to this little part right here. And make sure there's no foundation on your ear lobe. Okay, these two together are really happy. This is nice. Now I'm going to let all this set up, and I'm going to powder my lids before I go in with eyeshadow. And I'm just going to go in with the Kosas and put a generous amount of powder to absorb what I just put on the lids, so I have a dry rather than sticky base, because blending is going to be key for this look. Eyes are prepped. I pulled out two eyeshadows to work with. This is Ash from Bobbi Brown, and this is Tuxedo. You can see, I've talked before how grays are really hard. Some of them are way too cold. And I think you can see, in comparison, this gray has a lot more warmth in it, which is better for my skin tone. And it's probably better for many skin tones, but I brought this in anyway. We're going to see, maybe we'll do a mix. And now we're just going to be super careful about how we're laying this down. So I'm going to get a small brush, like this one here, and pick up the Bobbi Brown color. And this is a 13 from Reve. Take a look straight ahead and imagine, where do I want my eye crease? I don't like to do a rounded look on my shape because my face is on the rounder side, and I feel that if I go for a round eye, and my eyes are already small, you can see how they end right under my arch. Making them round will make them look smaller and make my face look bigger. So I like to pull out. Everybody's a little different. That's my preference. And eyes open. And I'm just sketching, barely touching. Someone who did this look really well was Carolyn Bissett Kennedy. She used to do this look where it looked like she's not wearing any makeup. She's just got dressed and threw on a red lipstick. I don't know if you can tell, but I can, that this is just kind of stretched out my eye a little bit, and it's super subtle, but I do want to blend this out. I'm taking, I think this is my Ray Morris brush, but it could be, I think actually it's a Wayne Goss brush, but I can't see the numbers, and I'm going to blend out down here. So there's a nice fade. And now open my eye and just go back and forth. It fits in that area really nicely. And now I'm taking that tip, and I will just spend some time here. Really small circles, just fading that, but I don't want to bring it up. So patience. And then if you want to, you can take up some powder and continue to blend that out a little bit, make it a little bit softer. That way you're not going to be bringing that gray color up to your eyebrow. Okay, doesn't look like much, but it's going to come together. I'm going to turn off the camera and do the other side. We'll be back in a minute, your time, in a second, my time, maybe 10. This shirt is so strange. It's got a lot going on with a really big arm and then a narrow arm on this side, and yeah, a lot of stuff. And it just keeps on kind of falling forward. But I'm telling you, it's cute. Alright, now for a little bit of brow work. I am going in with my usual, which is a NYX. And first I'm going to comb through just to make sure I don't have any foundation or sunscreen in. And I'm going to go very lightly back and forth just to transfer some of this wax onto my brows where I have a couple of grays and a couple of blondes. And then I'm just going to pencil in. I'm not going to try to do brow strokes. That's just doesn't really work for me. And now work on the arch a little bit because this one is higher than this one. A little bit, which I usually don't do, just to help even them out a little bit next time. I do have some long brow hairs, so while I want to go up, then I kind of go straight out. And, you know, it is what it is. So brows done. Lately I've been using this concealer, the Charlotte Tilbury, quite a bit. But I'm not sure, I think the color will be a little too light, which I don't like it when it's too light on me personally. So I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the Lancome 215, where the Charlotte Tilbury is in 4. I haven't used the Lancome in a long time, actually. I totally have forgotten about it. So there's a Charlotte Tilbury and there is the Lancome. And I'm going to go in with the Hot and Flashy. I'm going to mix with the brush. And in this case, that's how I'm picking it up and putting it on. It's a thinner layer, and I think I would rather do 2 thin layers than applying this directly onto the skin. And I've also noticed, you guys, oftentimes when I'm doing videos, I put my concealer on, I think everything looks great, and move on to other areas, and when I come back I feel like my skin actually absorbs the concealer a little bit and my darkness is coming through, which is kind of odd. So again, I might be coming back and doing a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit around here. Not that you see any of my redness, I don't think, but I'm just kind of doing a bit of a highlight contour thing with shadows and light down the center of the nose, which if you want to contour your nose rather than putting dark colors on the side, which is difficult to do well in my opinion, make a light color down the center of the nose and that will kind of do it for you, I think. And putting highlighter on your chin is said to make your chin come forward and look more prominent. So just the teeniest bit. Now I'm going to let that settle in for a little while before I do anything else. The next step might be powder, but I'm going to go back to the eyes. I have to tightline. I'm going to do my Charlotte Tilbury. This is a gray color, so it's not as hard, and I'm just doing up here. And then right through here, right where my eyes lids come together, I'm going to pull out and remove it. So there's a little bit of an empty spot right here, which will also help to open up my eyes and look a little bit bigger, look a little bit longer. A little trick for those of you who have small eyes. Now I'm going in with my Reve Morris brush and I'm just going to blend a little bit more. You could, depending on your eye shape, actually put something quite light and beige on your eyelid, but for me that wouldn't work. I may put a little bit of shimmer there, but it really is not a look that is about shimmer. It's supposed to look like you really don't have any eyeshadow on. And I think it's harder to put together that kind of look because you really have to choose your colors and your application very, very carefully. And yeah, I think this one is working better than this one would. This one is a little bit cold. Not that it can't work, but this is working. I want to do some powdering now before I go on with my blush. Since this suits a New Year's Eve look, it's not something that has to last all day long. so I don't have to start with a cream and then go on with the powder. I think I'm just going to do a powder, but there's always room for more, especially with blush. I like mixing blush colors. And because the look is so simple, I think I'm also going to do a highlighter. And I'm not powdering under the eyes just yet because I might do another layer of concealer. But mostly this is for prepping for my blush, so there's no drag. I'm going to go in with highlighter. This I mentioned in my best of videos, and it's my favorite highlighter from this year. It is a limited edition. But I guess, you know, maybe all their highlighters are kind of similar in tone. And start small with my lay down and then blend, which I think of as kind of shining the pearls or polishing the pearls. So I'm going to bring it up to the eyebrow. This shirt, it's making me nuts. Now for blush, I'm going to do this one. It seems like a really nice evening blush, but I'm still working on getting a collection together, you know, a couple of shades that I could use for evening. And I just saw a video that someone else did for their favorites, and they mentioned a blush that I hadn't heard of. So I might be doing a little bit of a buy. There's a little pink here, but not too much. It's all about the blend. So after I get this applied, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes to blend it well. For an evening look, I think your application needs to be a little bit different than a daytime look, but I'm still doing the kind of upside down U where it's going high and then down. And then I'm going to blend with a different brush that has nothing on it. So the look is hopefully really seamless, and of course I'm blending together the highlighter and the blush. Now I prefer blush that is this far from the edges. I don't like blush as contour, but I seem to have gotten there, so I'm just going to pull it up a little bit, whatever is left on the brush. I don't know, I kind of feel like, first of all, this blouse is making me nuts, and I feel like it might be a little bit too much. We can fix it though. We can fix it. Now let's go back to the eyes. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Let's go in with the Ilia, which is just big, thick, full lashes. Almost a false lash look. And now let's start with the red lipstick. This red is one of the best I've ever tried. And this is old, so I'm not going to do this, but it's a just perfect red. And yesterday I was cleaning out a little bit, and I came across this from Nars. I'm not sure if they still make it. Teeny little size. I'll just do some swatches so you can see the difference between them. The Unlocked, I think is what it's called, from Fenty, will stay all night if you're not eating greasy foods. And I feel that it's more neutral, where the Nars has a little more pink in it. So that's actually the ideal color. But we're going to do this one, and then maybe I'll go back and take it off and go on with the other one. Undertone is everything for a lot of people. I feel that with red lipsticks, I can do a bluish, I can do a pinkish, I can do an orange, I can do a neutral. But for a lot of people, they really can't. And I think that's part of the reason they have a hard time finding a good red lipstick for them. Okay, I think this is pretty good for any myriad of reasons, depending on who you are. Lip liner can be a little bit tricky, and I don't think it's necessarily necessary. So this, I think, is pretty close to it, but I think I do want to take a little powder and a beauty blender and work on this a little bit. It's a little much. my beauty blender is dry, so put that on, and now I'm going to get a nice brush to blend with. I guess I'll do this one. I was going to do a big fluffy one. And I'll just spend a few minutes on this. So I don't want a hard line right here, which is why I'm bringing the blush down a little bit. And now I'm just going to take a look at my under eyes and see what's going on. A little bit of creasing, so I'm going to take the pointed end and buff and repat. And you know what, I don't think that my skin actually absorbed this color too much. So I'm going to powder after I do this. And now I'm just going to warm up my fingers and melt it in a little bit. And whatever's left on my brush from my By Terry, I'm going to lay down first and see if that's enough. I think it is. I think this is going to be it, you guys. So it's not a lot of makeup. It's just really taking your time, blending, 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 layering your highlighter and then your blush over that. And the eyes took some time, even though it's such a very, very simple eye. If I had some black earrings, I would put them on. I used to, but you know, a little dangly black. Again, if I had a little more time to prep, I would have pulled out some interesting earrings. But me no have, and we are losing the light, so the timing is actually quite good. I hope that this was really helpful to you, and maybe I've shown you a little bit that you might be able to apply to your own look. And I hope that you agree that the look is really pretty classic, pretty chic, and looks simple. It's not really that simple because it took so much time, but that's kind of the look. It's yeah, I just put on some lipstick, whatever. Put on a little bit of blush, and that's all I did. I'm just too chic to care. You guys, I forgot I wanted to show you what this looks like. So I'm just going to pose for a little snappy, and that is for the Nars. And I also wanted to show you what my backup plan was if this didn't work, because I think it would be beautiful. This is the Victoria Beckham in mink. And look at that. And I almost like it when it's sheared out, like you're trying to take it off. A couple of different ways to go with that. You might want to do instead of what I've done here, or you can do both. You can kind of shadow out, carve through shadow in a way, but a very, very substantial blend, so it's not a true carve. And then put this on your lids, depending on your lid shape. Just, you know, nice color palette. And now I want to try this, which is going in the trash because it's for sure a million years old. But you can see the difference between the colors. Yeah, this smells. I do like this color better. It's very, very subtle, and yet I see a big difference. And then, again, very hard for me to get my lips completely perfect. Doesn't stop me from trying. I actually like this lip better. I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really hope it was helpful, and I want to take a minute to thank you for being with me this entire year, whether you started following me last week or you've been here for a couple of years. That's not what it's about. What it's about is you're watching and you're participating and giving the thumbs up and talking to your friends about me maybe. That is so meaningful to me, and I recognize that a small fraction of you who are out there actually make comments and let yourself be known, and that's fine. I understand it. I don't make very many comments on videos myself, but I know you're there, and I just wanted to say I appreciate each and every one of you, and I feel so grateful that you found me, and I hope that I've offered something to you, whether I given you inspiration to try something you didn't want to try, or tested makeup that you were thinking about getting and I gave you good feedback or tutorials, or maybe you just like the sound of my voice. It doesn't matter to me. You're here in some manner, whether I know who you are or not, and I'm very grateful to that. And I wish you a very happy and healthy 2023 and New Year.